Welcome to the Neuroscience of Visibility, why playing small keeps you invisible, and how to rewire it. I have a quick question. Have you ever spent way too long crafting a social post or an email only to delete it right before hitting publish? Or, if you're like me, have you ever had those moments where you know you should be following up on a potential client or doing that thing you've been putting off, but suddenly the dishwasher needs unloading and your inbox needs organizing, and somehow you have convinced yourself that tomorrow is a much better day? Yeah, me too. You are not flaky. You are also not unmotivated or bad at marketing. You are simply human. So that's the good news. And your brain? It is just doing what it is designed to do, which is to keep you safe. So the problem is that your brain does not know the difference between a tiger in the wild chasing you down or an internet troll simply being an eggplant emoji in your DMs. And so it triggers that fight or flight or freeze response. And what happens is you freeze, you shrink, you play small, and then over time that ends up keeping you just completely invisible. But visibility isn't just about showing up online and off. It is about feeling safe to be seen. And that is exactly what we're talking about today. It's how to use neuroscience to understand what is actually happening in your brain and in your body when you hesitate, and then how to rewire it so that showing up feels natural and not nerve-wracking. But first, hi, I am Christine. I help coaches, healers, and consultants who are tired of living from one sale to the next. And I am part of that 35%, that mere 35% that make it to 10 years in business. And it's actually 13. Hooray. And like I said, I help women who are coaches, healers, and consultants. I help you blend science, soul, and strategy to build businesses that feel as good to run as they make money. And I am on a mission to help 1,000 women make $1 million or more in revenue and beyond. And that is because out of all the businesses in the US, only 2% of those who make $1 million or more in revenue are women owned. And frankly, F that. Not a fan. Let's change that. So, thank you so much that you have decided to come along with me on my revolution to bridge this gap. This workshop is designed to be a tiny step in that direction. And before we dive into the science of all of that fear of visibility and all of that, I want to share something personal with you, because even after 20 years in marketing, I was not immune to this. So this changed just about everything for me. It was a few years into my business, and on paper, things looked great. I had the credentials, I had the experience, and decades under my belt in marketing. And in reality, I was hiding. I'd post on social media inconsistently. I would second guess every caption, and I would watch people I knew who had less experience than me absolutely owning it online. Meanwhile, I was sitting behind my laptop, absolutely just convincing myself that I was refining my message. But in reality, what I was really doing was I was avoiding being seen. And I remember one afternoon in particular, I had this brilliant post. You know the kind. It's one of those moments where everything just kind of flows. And right before I hit publish, I froze. I deleted the whole fucking thing. The whole thing. My heart was racing. My brain started listing every reason not to post it. What if someone disagrees? What if I sound like I'm too confident? What if people think I'm bragging? Oh, what if? So I deleted the whole thing. At first, I blame perfectionism because all the gurus, right, are out there yelling like, don't be a perfectionist, don't be a perfectionist. And that can be part of it. Like I'm one of those people that are talking about perfectionism. But what it actually is my brain thought visibility was dangerous. And my brain just wants to protect me, right? Because every time we step into the spotlight, even a tiny one, our nervous system remembers every moment from our past when visibility did not feel safe. Maybe it was being told to quiet down in the 3rd grade. Maybe it was getting shut down in a meeting more recently. Maybe it is the weight, simply the weight of being a woman in business who's been conditioned to make herself feel liked. If that hit home, take a deep breath with me for a second. Because the good news is, this is not a character flaw. Far from it, my friend. It is a pattern. And once I started studying neuroscience and seeing how the brain and the body are wired to protect us, I realized something really powerful. That you cannot mindset your way into visibility. You have to rewire your nervous system to believe that it is safe to be seen. And that realization changed everything, not just for me, but for the hundreds of women that I have coached since. Because when your brain feels safe, your message flows. When your body feels grounded, your marketing feels genuine. And that is exactly what we are talking about next. If you've ever found yourself shrinking, hesitating, or second-guessing yourself before sharing your brilliance, grab a pen, grab a notebook, open up Notepad. We are about to take a look at what actually is happening inside your brain when you play small and how to start creating your new normal. So now we've talked about what hiding can look like. Let's pull back the curtain on why it happens. So here's the thing. Your brain is not working against you, believe it or not. It is really just trying to protect you. And when you think about hitting post or launching something new or even simply speaking up on a call, your brain does this quick scan for danger. And if it finds even the slightest association with rejection or criticism or some sort of embarrassment from your past, it is going to sound the alarm. So you're wired for this. And this is an illustration from Simply Psychology that helps to explain that. So your amygdala is a part in the core of your brain. It's like in the center of your brain on like either side because we've got 2 lobes. And so its job is detecting threats. So in this case, a spider, which, not a fan. Not arachnophobe, but I'm not far from that. So that is the part of your brain that is responsible for detecting threats. Its job is to keep you safe, but it isn't very sophisticated. So again, it's in that core center. It's been with us for a long time in our evolution. And so again, it does not know the difference between that tiger chasing us in the wild and being judged by that stranger on the internet. And so what happens is you get the same stress response no matter what, of the heart racing, the chest tightening, the fingers frozen over the keyboard, just hovering over that publish button. And it's not self-sabotage. It really isn't. It is your brain simply doing its job a little too well. And that's what we need to change. So that is what a lot of people really don't realize, is that when your brain feels unsafe, it disconnects from that. It disconnects from logic. The amygdala, that part in the middle, takes over, and the part in the front of your brain, and it's called the prefrontal cortex, it is responsible for logic. And that is the part that makes strategic, clear decisions, temporarily goes offline. It's like no matter how hard you try, no matter how many marketing plans you have or how many strategies you've tried, if your nervous system does not feel safe, your visibility will always feel hard. And that is why traditional, just be consistent messaging and advice doesn't work. You cannot out-discipline your own biology. It's like you can't out-train a bad diet, right? If we're talking about workouts, it's similar here. You cannot out-discipline your own biology. You have to retrain your brain. And that is where my framework, the Neurospark Method, comes in. And it is 3 simple steps: notice, name, and new normal. All ends for a reason. We like alliteration. It keeps things simple and easier to memorize. So notice, name, new normal. It is a simple science-backed process to help you rewire your brain for visibility one small moment at a time. It means becoming aware of what is actually happening in your body when visibility feels hard. That is the notice part. And let me get myself out of the way here. Covering my cute graphics. So I want you to notice, become aware of what is actually happening in your body. That is step one. Maybe your shoulders tense and they squinch up, right? Maybe your jaw clenches. Maybe you catch yourself doom scrolling instead of actually posting. So these are all signals, all little flare-ups from your nervous system or Adobe saying something about this feels unsafe. The power, though, is noticing this without judging it. So we don't want to label it. We just want to notice it. It is not good. It is not bad. It is neutral. And we just want to make sure that we're bringing awareness to it, because awareness alone begins to quiet that fear response. If you want to pause here, because again, this is a workshop. This is not just me yapping at you. Jot down one situation that's been triggering your visibility anxiety lately, or historically, either one. But if there's a moment lately, let's work with that because it's recent. And I just want you to notice, where do you feel this in your body? Let's get out of our heads. Let's get into our bodies. Write your answer down, because it is the first little breadcrumb towards this rewiring. Now go ahead and pause. I will be here when you get back. Okay, great. So number 2 is to name it. You have noticed it, and now I want you to name it, because when you name what's happening, you're actually moving that experience from your emotional brain in the middle here to the front, into that logic brain. And it's literally shifting the neural activity from the amygdala to the prefrontal cortex. So instead of you spiraling, what you're doing is you're starting to observe. And I want you to look at it, try to look at it at least with curiosity. You might say, oh, this isn't me being inconsistent. This is my brain trying to keep me safe, trying to keep me safe. That tiny moment of naming it puts you back in the driver's seat. And again, we're looking at this with curiosity and kindness. We're not looking at this with judgmental of like, oh, why'd you do that again? That's not what we're not here for that. We're rewiring. Okay? So name it. So first we noticed it, and now we're naming it. I want you to pause before we get into 3. I want you to finish this sentence. When I feel afraid to show up, my brain is protecting me from fill in the blank. Don't overthink it. I want you to write down the very first thing that you come up with, and because it's most often the first thing is most often the most honest one. And again, I'll be here when you're done. So finally, we're on number 3. Again, we did notice, we did name, and now we're gonna create a new normal. Okay, so this is where we gently teach our brain that visibility can be safe, and it is safe. You're building new neural pathways through these small, repeatable actions. So instead of going live for an hour, like if that's your goal, is to create, let's say, a YouTube channel where you go live every Tuesday evening, right? You don't have to start with that right away. Like instead, maybe you can share one unfiltered story for like 30 seconds or even 10 seconds. Or maybe it's you send that email follow-up that you've been avoiding, or you record a video and you don't even post it, and it's just practice being visible to no one but yourself. These are all fantastic first steps. You want to break it down into the most simplest tiny action that you can take. So you actually do the thing, because every time you take one of those tiny actions, you are sending your brain new evidence. See? We did the thing. We didn't die. We are safe. And over time, those moments add up and they become your new normal. At that point, then the fear starts to fade, the flow returns, and visibility becomes less about performance and more about presence and being in it and being in that moment. And you stop thinking about, oh my God, what could happen? That's what we want. So again, let's take a moment to actually integrate this, because it's one thing to hear the words, it's another thing to actually apply them to yourself. And so wherever you are, unless you're driving, why are you doing this while you're driving? No judgment, but like, I have questions. I want you to take a slow, deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now I want you to think of one person, just one person, who genuinely needs what you offer. They can be real or fake. They can be imaginary. It can be your avatar, as they say. Who needs what it is that you provide in your business? Why are you doing this? Who are you doing it for? Picture them. I want you to picture them finding your post or your email or your video and feeling that sigh of relief of like, finally, somebody gets it. Because we've all had that moment, right? We've had that moment ourselves. We're like, oh my God, yes, I need the Snuggie. Or whatever it is. Do you remember Snuggies? Am I dating myself? This is exactly what visibility does. It helps people find that transformation they've been waiting for, even if that transformation is simply feeling comfortable on your couch in a Snuggie. And when you remember that it's about that transformation, not about the way you feel about hitting publish, the fear starts to soften. It is about the service, not you. It is about the people that you serve and how they're going to feel. Okay, so now that you've done that exercise and started to integrate it a little bit, now I want you to understand what's actually happening. Now that you actually understand what's happening in the brain, we went through that already. I want to talk about how this connects to authentic marketing. Because once you stop fighting your nervous system, visibility starts to feel good. And this is what I call aligned visibility. It's a total game changer, especially for women in business, because we've been taught a lot of not random stuff. We've been taught to be small by society. And aligned visibility isn't about manipulating anyone or forcing anyone to buy. It is about showing up in a way that honors your energy and your audience's attention and the truth of what you offer. When your brain feels unsafe, marketing feels like pressure, like you're constantly pushing, constantly chasing, constantly proving. I think about the myth about Sisyphus. Oh my God. Sisyphus. Oh my God. You guys are probably like laughing at me. Sisyphus. There we go. When your brain feels unsafe, marketing feels like pressure, like you're constantly pushing, chasing, or proving. I think about that myth about Sisyphus. Oh my God, I have such a hard time saying it. Sisyphus, who is constantly pushing that boulder up the hill, right, up the mountain, and it just for it to fall back down, and constantly pushing back, falling back down. That's what visibility can feel like sometimes, right? But when your nervous system feels regulated, visibility becomes permission. It becomes permission to express, permission to connect, and permission to serve. And that's why we're in business to begin with, right? Marketing isn't about convincing people. Sales is not about convincing people. It is about communicating safety. When you feel safe, when your energy, your message, and your brand feels safe to yourself, people naturally lean in. Their nervous system relaxes too, and that is how you build trust. It's an energy exchange. And that's part of your brain that is actually called the mirror neuron system. Another thing I struggle to say. Mirror neuron system is the reason we can feel someone's energy, even through a screen. You're feeling it right now. And when you're tense and you're trying too hard and you're posting from fear or panic, you're hitting I gotta hit this deadline. Your audience's mirror neurons can pick that up. But when you're grounded and when you're confident and you're in alignment, people can feel that. Then that's why alignment sells way better, infinitely better than any stupid script. Like, how many times have you been like, oh, this is a $9 script, I'll try it. And you do it and it feels completely inauthentic because it's not you. It doesn't feel good to you. And people on the other end of the screen, or, well, yeah, whether it's an email or video, they can feel that too. So I want to make this practical. What do you do about all of that, right? Some more. 3 steps. I like the, magic of 3s, right? Let's get me out of the way here. Boop, there we go. So if visibility has felt overwhelming, here's how to start small in a way that will feel natural and support your new normal, right? The first thing I want you to do is choose one area of focus. And by area of focus, in this case, I'm talking about, writing, or maybe it's recording audio, or maybe it's filming a video. Pick one. So like pick TikTok, pick Instagram, pick Substack, pick LinkedIn, any of those, right? Anything. It could be saying hi to your neighbor. I'm trying to think of an in real life. Going to a networking event. Maybe that's a bit much. But anyways, I think you get the idea. Number 2, I want you to commit to taking one tiny authentic action each week. And I don't want you to do this for performance. I want you to do this for practice. And before you do anything, before you start creating, I want you to, again, take one slow, deep breath and remind yourself that it is safe for me to be seen. That is exactly how your marketing and your nervous system becomes a practice, not just to-do list, checking things off. And so if you want to pause here again and take a moment for reflection and jot this down, what would authentic visibility look like for me if it felt safe? There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. Just notice what comes up and write it down. So go ahead, pause here, and I'll be here when you get back. So this is the shift that changes everything. When you move from performance to presence, from fear to safety, from manipulation to magnetism, you become the kind of leader people trust instantly. And the best part is you don't have to fake confidence or hustle harder to get there. You just have to keep giving your brain and your body the signal that it's safe to show up. Those tiny actions. Now, I know that this can sound simple, but simple doesn't always mean easy. Rewiring these old patterns takes intention, takes repetition, and support. Some of us over here are up in our 40s or more, and so that's 40 years of digging in neural pathways. It's going to take a little while and a little practice to change them and reroute them in a different way, okay? Listen, I'm there. I've been there. I have done this. It takes a minute, okay? And so that's why I created a free resource to help you keep this momentum going and to have that support. And it is the Unmute Yourself 5-day visibility rewire. If this talk resonated in any way, if you are done playing small and you are ready to take the next step into your next level of confidence with calm, that's the key, calm. I want you to join me inside Unmute Yourself. Let's make visibility feel safe, sustainable, and so you. Looking forward to seeing you on the inside. Go to unmuteyourselfnow.com.